What you're doing is simply amazing, I must say. I was just wondering, as you mentioned it, since you also have a background in photography, how did that point come about?
Well, I've been familiar with mushrooms since I was a child. I used to always go to the forest with my parents. I think they planted the seed in me, so that's already ingrained in me. I was a Boy Scout as a child and teenager until I was 16. The forest is truly a place that feels very familiar to me. In my early 20s, I really wanted to become an artist. I wanted to be one. Somehow, things came full circle. But all the art schools rejected me because I wasn't good enough, and so on. I was a bit lost and always searching. Yeah, just searching for who knows what. But I always went to the forest, looking for answers. The forest is also deeply connected to my grandparents and my family. It was always a refuge for me, especially when my grandparents passed away. I went to the forest seeking comfort because they were very important to me. Eventually, I entered the advertising world, starting with internships, then assisting, and then landing my first jobs at a very high level. So I actually started working directly with the icon of German photographers at that time. The name doesn't matter, but he was truly the advertising photographer in Germany. Everyone knows him or his pictures. And for me, that was like a gateway into a high-end, glamorous world, the jet set. I really took off from 0 to 100 quite quickly. By my early 20s, I was already photographing campaigns for BMW and, well, I don't need to mention other car manufacturers. I was jet-setting around the world. I lived in Paris, New York, and Cape Town. I traveled to 80 countries around the world and saw a lot. But I was always drawn back to the forest. I always had the forest as a balance during my entire creative period in advertising. So whenever it got overwhelming for me, or I just returned from a trip, like from New York, which completely overwhelmed me because there's just too much artificial stuff, I always head to the woods to recharge and refresh myself. And at some point, I just realized it wasn't for me anymore. I don't want to badmouth it. Everything has its place. If it suits people, they should do the job. For me, it just didn't fit anymore. I realized I was working at such a high level with top stars. I photographed Claudia Schiffer and worked with Kate Hudson in Hollywood. You know, really amazing things where people from the outside think, wow, that's fantastic. In the end, it's really unhealthy. You spend a lot of time on planes, which is also unhealthy for the planet. You wake up at 3 in the morning to be on set by sunrise, work 20 hours, then crash into some anonymous hotel bed, completely disconnected from everything. I've had some amazing experiences there that I wouldn't want to miss. I am also very grateful for everything I've been able to see in the world. But for me, joy is at its greatest when it can be shared. And if you don't share that with your friends or loved ones, it just doesn't mean as much to me. I've realized that all the energy you put into it dissipates quickly, and there's a lack of recognition. On an advertisement, your name isn't listed underneath. The brand is listed, and no one knows who took the photo. We all want recognition for what we do, and it's clear how fleeting everything is. Then you get published in a great magazine. Okay, that's in a magazine. You can look it up again. But those billboards that are hanging somewhere, they stay up for a week or two. Like I said, no one knows you did that. You pass by on the subway and think, yeah, cool, I did that. But 2 weeks later, it's not there anymore. And you have to realize what a waste of resources that is. So it's not just my own effort, but how many people are involved. How much, just in catering in the US, how much plastic is wasted? Everything on disposable plates. Then they come with huge trucks, setting up all sorts of things, and you think, wow, why? And for me, it just stopped making sense to be part of that circus. So I started focusing more on the forest and my mushroom coaching. I wrote a book about it 5 years ago, but I think the world wasn't quite ready for it back then. It sold well, but it didn't skyrocket like it is now. Or maybe I just realized that the interest in nature topics wasn't as pronounced back then. And I also feel like it really got a boost since the pandemic. People were kind of forced to stay in. They couldn't go out or meet friends. The only thing you were allowed to do was go for a walk. Okay, where do I go? To the forest.
Exactly. And you've built a really nice transition with those words because the summit is also dealing with this topic in a way, let's just say the medicinal mushroom boom. So maybe there are even more medicinal mushrooms that not everyone is familiar with, like cordyceps or hericium, but maybe we can actually discuss what kinds of medicinal mushrooms are found in our forests.
Yes, I feel like the mushrooms have been waiting for the right moment to bring joy to humanity. Or maybe humanity is at a point where it sometimes veers into something dystopian, and mushrooms might offer hope or realize they need to step in and help. Of course, that's just my way of putting it, but maybe we should briefly start with foraging before really diving into the mushrooms themselves. We have many medicinal mushrooms here that are packed with great nutrients like vitamins, minerals, and so on. Many of them are also adaptogens. I'll gladly explain that in a moment. But I'd like to briefly touch on foraging, because for me it's like that, especially in winter. I haven't dealt with severe depression myself, but I've had my dark moments, and it's comforting to know that the forest has something to offer us. Especially when it's gray outside, the days are short, and everything feels awful. The forest holds secrets you can simply gather, like wine cap, oyster mushroom, wild mushrooms, and wood ear. And the best part, which I find wonderful, is that vitamin D, crucial for us, is mainly absorbed through the skin from sunlight. When it's dark in winter and the sun barely shines, everything just feels gray, and we miss it. Then we just don't feel well. It's such an amazing feature. Oyster mushrooms are full of vitamin D. Mushrooms in general are packed with vitamin D. Nature has that in store for us. We just need to know where to find it. And that's something humanity has forgotten. Fortunately, a mushroom revolution is truly underway now. It pops up like mushrooms from the ground. Everywhere, the topic of medicinal mushrooms is finally coming to light. But we also have cordyceps here. Recently, while gathering chanterelles, I actually found a small doll's core mushroom. It's great to find, but you can find it here too. Or the lion's mane mushroom, hericium, is also here now. You can find it, but it is declining. That's why I would recommend relying on cultivated forms. It's perfectly fine to buy mushrooms grown on a good substrate. They have the same healing properties as those from nature. So one should also be careful not to collect excessively and ensure they can regrow. I've actually been collecting chaga here for years, even in our area. It's not just that it grows much more frequently in the subpolar region than it does here, and also much slower, possibly storing its nutrients in a more concentrated form. But for me, chaga is the ultimate miracle cure. By the way, there's a nice analogy. Chaga looks like a cancerous growth on a tree. It's black, crusty, and a bit unpleasant. And chaga, well, there aren't any human studies yet, but it has been proven in animals that chaga inhibits the growth of tumor cells. So that means a fungus that looks like a cancerous growth inhibits the growth of cancer. Isn't that amazing? Or hericium, which in some growth stages looks like a brain, can recreate and connect cell connections, boosting brain function and enhancing thinking and mental clarity. It's really fascinating what fungi can do and how they might subtly make us aware of it. Hey, we've got something for you, if you really keep your eyes open.
Exactly.
Exactly. You just need to sharpen your focus and immerse yourself in it. And yes, let's get back to what we have in terms of medicinal mushrooms. Even the chanterelle is packed with amazing properties and compounds. I can't list them all right now. I'd actually need to take a quick look in my book. But medicinal mushrooms include chanterelles, porcini, oyster mushrooms, wood ear, as I mentioned, and even reishi, so we have those. Big companies try to convince us that these local mushrooms don't have the same healing powers or nutrients as those from China. Sure, fair enough, traditional Chinese medicine has been working with this for much longer. I'm just glad that medicinal mushrooms are finally getting the attention they deserve. I don't even know, just off the record for a moment, how critical we want to be here. So, I don't know if you know this, but I started a company 3 years ago, Vivid Soil, and we made mushroom drinks like reishi, cordyceps, lion's mane, and chaga, mixed with spray-dried organic herbal extracts, coffee, tea, that kind of thing. It's really nice with cocoa, too. We're at a point where we almost broke our necks because we had a health claim on our site, saying that reishi can help with blood pressure issues, which is proven. But since we didn't commission the study, we got a warning. We really got hit hard. It cost us a significant five-figure amount. It's really frustrating, but I'm not giving up. I've been pioneering in this field for years. But it's really difficult in Germany. You can't even say medicinal mushrooms. You have to say functional mushrooms. Otherwise, it implies something. So it's really tricky, and I have an opinion on it.